Welcome back to the Deacon Hoover Radio Network. It's time for another Deacon of Real Estate podcast with the Deacon himself, Alex Deacon. Alex, how are you doing today, good sir?
I'm doing awesome, Adam. How in the hell are you?
You know what? I am in the hell doing here, I guess, huh? I guess if that's a question. I don't even know what I just said.
Yeah, what
there.
did you just say?
Who knows?
That's all right.
And what we're going to talk about today, though, Alex, inquiring minds want to know, just because, it's that time of year where a lot of times with real estate investing, it tends to be a little bit slower period, but I don't necessarily know if it has to be. My question is that I want to talk about today is there upside to selling in the winter?
I do believe there is. Now, I guess there probably isn't when you live in a climate that's always warm.
Okay, good point.
So we live in Pittsburgh, so winter is cold and there's snow, and so it is different because people look at winter differently than they would if you live maybe in North Carolina or Georgia, where the weather's fairly warm all year round. Yeah, and the reason is because of course it's getting cold. Your heat bills are going to be high. If the property's vacant, and let's say you live out of state, then you have to worry about it sitting there vacant over the winter. Potentially your furnace stops working. Potentially you could have frozen plumbing and all that good stuff. So holding costs and just the uncertainty of owning something over some cold months, especially if you don't live there, can cause some grief in that person's life. So therefore they may be more prone to negotiate more off that price. So it might be better to buy in the winter. But we're going to go into that in the details.
Sounds good.
We're going to get into that.
We're going to get into that.
Just relax.
But first,
we're going to talk about the new steak knives that you can. We're going to go into that.
There are some for the zombie apocalypse in case anybody anybody's out there is listening. But
yes.
All right, Alex. So let's first things first. First bullet point, my friend. Take it away.
Yeah. Here. This is from a blog that you posted.
I did.
Less inventory, more attention. Okay, so so I'm a real estate agent. That's what I've done for quite a long time, and I get this question asked by my seller clients that, hey, maybe we shouldn't list it right now, Alex. It's November 15th. What's around the corner is Thanksgiving. What's around the corner is Christmas, plus the winter months. Why don't we hold off till the spring? Mm-hmm. And there's pros and cons of that. The pros are, it does slow up around, like right around Thanksgiving till the beginning of the next year. It's typically slower, right? You have family coming in, you have the holidays, everybody's kind of distracted by that. But now, you look at it this way, because I've had some of my best months as a real estate agent in December.
Really?
Okay. The reason is on the agent side is agents just mentally they check out. They said, it's going to be slow. I'm not going to make any calls. I'm not going to do any sales. I'll just wait till the spring.
Okay.
So if you hit it hard as an agent, you usually and most top producing agents will agree that they're busy in December. So, but as a seller, should I list my house in December? Think about it this way. A lot of folks are taking their houses off the market. So let's say your house was listed for 6 months and didn't sell. They're going to take it off the market, relist it in the spring. Okay? So what happens is you'll see an inventory drop from maybe 3,000 homes in a metropolitan area to 2,500. So you immediately dropped inventory. That means less inventory automatically means more demand. Mm-hmm. Right? Less inventory, so the demand goes up. Now, what happens, though, is demand also goes down because less people are looking for the same reasons. Mm-hmm. So less people are, again, they're caught up in the holidays, and let's wait till the weather breaks. We'll start looking then. So your inventory decreases, but the demand decreases also. So what that means is, I don't know the exact numbers, but really the supply and demand about equal out. So there's no reason why not to have your house listed in December, on December 7th. Because there's less people looking, but there's less inventory. So I don't know.
It's a wash almost. I mean, like mathematically, it's almost like 10,000.
It almost is. I'm sure someone who's really number oriented can come up with some serious data that says, okay, the average sale price is less during these months than these months. I'm sure that there's some data out there. I'm just telling you from the 24 plus years experience I have that's what I've noticed, that there's never really a bad time to list your home. Okay. I do agree, though, I would not list a home like now. I mean, today's the December 22nd.
Right.
I typically wouldn't list a home from the middle of December till next year. Okay? I just don't list it. Wait till the first of the year.
Okay. And another way I'll actually segue into bullet point number 2. We're getting good with this. Look at this.
Oh yeah, segue away.
I think what a lot of people don't realize, and what a lot of investors and what a lot of people in real estate don't realize is, when in the corporate world, a lot of relocations happen at the first of the year. So people that are getting promotions, people that are getting relocated, and depending on whatever corporation you work for, whether it be a phone company, whether it be Heinz Ketchup, whether it be you name it, if you get relocated and it's like, okay, starting first of 2008 or 2018, you're going to be across the country. People are going to be looking, and I think that's one where I'm sure that's a small part of it, but does that come into play too, where you see people is that typically the fish that you have on the hook, so to speak, or people that are...
I think that's one of the ingredients,
okay.
Right? So it's winter, it's holidays, it's the perception of the general public is, the market's going to be dead for the next 2 months, I'll pull it off the market. What you just said about relocations and new people moving in, there's so many different variables, but you can boil it down to one, and it is, if you need to sell right now, then the best time to get your house listed is right now.
Right.
If you don't need to sell, you can listen to your agent and look at different factors and decide to list it in the spring. I'm just telling you, when you list it in the spring here in this Pittsburgh market, when it's warmer and everybody else is listing their house, you have more homes on the market, but then you have a much higher demand too. So again, I think it equals out, because we flip a couple homes a month, and we list homes all across the spectrum, all times of the year, and we have good luck in selling any time of the year. I mean, it's just, so I have no problem with it. So yeah. I'm giving you practical experience
and reasons why to not hesitate, because I think that one of the reasons why I wanted to bring this up is, we talk about this before. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, and you never want to kind of sit back. December is a month, and January is a month that you absolutely should be able to capitalize on, just like anything else. I mean, it's, the numbers are still there. So don't hesitate. Always promote yourself. Always, you're a businessman or woman 365 days a year.
And we're kind of focusing on this conversation on the general consumer market. I think we'll go into investor market, and it can differ a little bit. Okay. But your second bullet point was first quarter job relocation. The third bullet point, I think, is actually a good one. You have no landscaping, no problem. I do see that if in our climate we have snow and ice, it can deter people. If the weather's really bad, it'll deter people, the average consumer, from going out looking at homes, unless they really need to buy. Right? It'll deter them. Plus, your house probably doesn't show as well without that landscaping and those landscaping lights and everything. So, I mean, that can affect value a little bit.
Okay.
But again, if you need to sell now, you sell now. You don't wait till the spring. The thing that I wanted to talk about was, we can dive into, because this is more investor-oriented podcast, so I'll jump into some things that you might not think about. And when I buy properties, a lot of them I buy from the banks. That doesn't mean I go directly to the bank. That just means a lot of them are listed for sale on the West Penn multi-list. That's our multi-list. And they're bank-owned. Now, they're not much different than like maybe a car dealership. And they have to meet their quota for the end of the year, sometimes the end of the month. So, a lot of times, those banks want to get this inventory off their books. Yeah, so in many cases, you can get a better deal on something in the winter in this market here in Pittsburgh, because one, the investors who aren't real serious about this, they're taking off for the holidays, and it's too cold. I don't wear my gloves, and I don't want to get snow on my feet. Those aren't your true investors. So your competition is less, in my opinion. 2, if you get that bank at the right time, and that house has been on the market a certain amount of days or months, and you just pounce at the right time, and that asset manager who has, full reign over these thousands of properties that they want to get rid of, they might be more inclined to negotiate. So you might get a better deal in the winter months towards the end of the year based on they need to meet their quota or hit their numbers. So I see that happen. I mean, it's not huge. It's not like you're going to get a 50% discount just because you're buying on December 28th. But you are going to see it. I mean, a 10% or 15% discount sometimes is your profit.
And that's stuff that you should always be doing from, like we always talk about, make money in your PJs. That's stuff that you could do straight from home, correct?
That is correct. And again, as an investor, you're always looking. I mean, I go out when it's 10 degrees. I'll go out when there's 2 feet of snow because I know if I'm not, and I'm competitive, so I know someone else is doing it. It has nothing to do with the money. Again, it has nothing to do with... it just has to do with I like to win, and the only way to win is to work hard and to be out there when everybody else isn't. So there's no easy way. We talk about that all the time. So you have no landscaping, no problem. The 4th bullet point you have is a lighter footprint. So what is that? Expand on that.
Basically, typically in the wintertime, what you're going to get is you're going to get more serious interest in the property versus people that might be going to 10 open houses.
Yeah.
People typically are going to maybe just 3 because they've just like you said, people don't they don't want to be traipsing around in the snow.
That's
true. You're going to have
that's true.
The people that you come into an open house or whatever, that they're more interested than just the people that.
That's no different than what I just said about the serious investors, right?
Yes,
and the general public, same thing. Like if you're doing a flip, so you and I buy a house and we put it on the market to flip it. And it's December. We know whoever is walking through that house in December on a cold day, they are going to buy something, whether it's your house or another one. They're serious. And it's no different than the investors who are kind of part-time or the serious investors. They're out there looking when it's cold, wet, damp, doesn't matter.
Yep.
So, absolutely. Your amount of serious buyers probably increases percentage-wise, I guess, in the winter. Because you might have 100 people looking in the summer months, but 50% of them are tire kickers. In the winter, if 100 people are looking, probably 80% are going to buy a house.
Yeah, in the summertime, how many people are coming for the free cookies?
Yeah, quite a few. Quite a few. Unless my wife's cooking them, and then I probably would not get anybody at the open house.
Oh.
Whoa! She'll agree with you, believe me. She knows.
I guess so. I don't even have to cut that part out.
You don't. So, a lighter footprint, I get it now. That's a very good point. Absolutely. Everybody who's looking on a cold, damp winter day or ice or snow, and it's 10 degrees below zero, and they're out there looking, and the wife's 6 months pregnant, these folks need to buy. They're not going to let anything get in their way. They need to buy something. All right, so you have bullet point number 5, a faster home sale. Explain that. You think in the winter you get a faster home sale?
It's just from the research that I did, and this is why I brought this up, so you can prove me that I'm wrong. But typically in the wintertime, because there are less transactions being going through, a lot of times everything goes through a little bit quicker, a little bit more fluid, just because it isn't as busy. It's almost the ones that you're getting, the balls that are being thrown at you are almost like home run balls every time, versus you're not getting thrown a slider, a curveball, a knuckleball, a changeup. You know what I mean? Things typically tend to be a little more streamlined. They go a little bit easier because everybody isn't as bogged down with, like you said, granted it's just a numbers game, but this is an area where the numbers game works in our favor because people aren't as bogged down.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
You lost me. So you're saying in the winter you're going to get a faster home sale because there's just
the red tape can go through. People can go through the red tape a little bit quicker, just because all the steps that you have to take. Typically, those people that you lean on aren't as busy as they typically would be in the summertime, so they can get to your problem a little bit quicker.
Actually, that's a valid point. I don't know how much of an impact that makes, but That is a valid point.
Just because, again, on a numbers game,